In the big games, we're down to 2 football games this weekend decide the Super Bowl. I said I take the 10 best players in a game, and it usually gives you some sense on who the better team is. My initial reaction is Brock Purdy on the road at Philadelphia with that crowd. You're asking that kid. He struggled in the first half against Seattle, and he struggled at different times against Dallas. Now Philadelphia, that is a big ask. I think Philadelphia is going to win the game. Now that being said, let's go to the top 10 players. So I graded the top 10 players.
Number 10
would be Darius Slay, Philadelphia. So 5 Pro Bowls in 6 years. The Eagles were great against the pass. He allowed a 76 passer rating. Big play Slay. He's a playmaker. There's a lot of good corners. There's not a lot of good corners that are playmakers. He feels like one, so Darius Slay at 10.
Number 9.
George Kittle. That's how loaded these teams are. George Kittle's at 9. 1 of 2 tight ends with 800 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. Again, you could put him at 4, and I'd have no argument. This game is so stocked with talent. He is a tight end. Remember, he is a tight end. They're valuable, but they're not quarterbacks. They're not paid. By the way, they're paid much less than left tackles, edge rushers, corners, receivers, quarterbacks. They are. They're tight ends.
Who had the biggest catch for the Niners?
Not disputing that. There's a reason the pay scale for tight ends is the second lowest group, I think, behind safeties. Yeah, it's not who has the best highlights. That's the other network. Okay.
Number 8.
Christian McCaffrey had over 2,000 scrimmage yards. They are 12-0 since they inserted him into the starting lineup. So, again, he is the Swiss Army knife in this league. He can catch. He actually can block a little. He can run. He figured the offense out in about 40 minutes. Remember, they brought him in, and like 2 days later, he was making plays for the Niners. Christian McCaffrey, over 500 yards receiving, over 1,000 yards rushing. He's a unique player in the NFL. He really is all-time unique player.
Number 7.
Fred Warner, I think the best linebacker in the league. He's great against the pass. He's great against the run. He has sideline-to-sideline range. He led the Niners in tackles with 130. Second highest graded linebacker in the league. I think he's the best linebacker. Just does everything well. I mean, his range. Remember Earl Thomas, the Seahawks safety? And you didn't talk a lot about that. He'd be like, he was a sideline-to-sideline safety. That's what Fred Warner is. His highlights are insane. He's chasing down people from 30 yards away.
Number 6.
Lane Johnson's going to be a first-ballot tackle, and he's a right tackle. Has not allowed a sack in back-to-back years. I mean, he's literally far and away the best right tackle in years. He played about 70% this weekend and dominated, a 4-time Pro Bowler, but he's only the second most talented offensive lineman they have. Get to that in a second.
Number 5.
A.J. Brown. He's great. Difference maker. A.J. Brown, most receiving yards in a year in Eagles franchise history. One of 4 players with 1,500 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns in the entire league. The highest graded wide receiver on either team. Look at Tennessee's offense when he left. How many receivers could change the direction of a franchise? Now, he's not alone, but look at Tennessee and Philadelphia a year ago. That's how good he is.
Number 4.
Jalen Hurts, MVP conversation. 14 rushing touchdowns, a dynamic that is hard to defend. Tied for the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in NFL history. Only quarterback with 30 total touchdowns and less than 10 picks. So I get all the elevation, running and passing, and I don't get the giveaways. 21-4 over the last 25 games. It goes back to that Lamar Jackson thing. You win like that, you're my guy. 21-4.
Number 3.
Jason Kelce, best center in football. Hasn't allowed, I mean, it's amazing. 2 years allowed 1 sack, 6-time Pro Bowler. He's the highest graded player on the entire Eagles offense. He is on a short list of the greatest centers in the history of football. And I mean, the list is short, and he's on it. Think about how good Philadelphia is. He's the highest graded offensive player.
Number 2.
Trent Williams is a top 5 tackle. Micah Parsons disappeared this weekend. Literally disappeared. He's the highest graded player on the Niners offense. Highest graded offensive tackle in the league. All you had to do is go watch the Micah Parsons highlights. He engulfed him. I mean, he just engulfed Micah Parsons. You're not going to get, in the history of the Niners, they'll never get a left tackle this good. And I don't care if they spend the next 6 drafts, draft them in the first round. You're never going to get a left tackle this good.
Number 1.
Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year, virtually unblockable. There's 1 or 2 players in the league. TJ Watt's one of the other ones, just unblockable. For a guy his size, does he have any body fat? I mean, some guy, it's just, Nick and Joey's dad, big guy. Genetically, the Bosas are different. That guy's got like no body fat and weighs 265 or something. It's incredible. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.